Sometimes it's really freaking hard to make that judgment call. You're sort of looking around at what other people are doing, being like, I don't know, like you're winging it. And this law, this ruling, makes it really freaking easy to be like, sorry, babe, it's illegal.
Okay, I'm burning to talk to you about the Australian social media ban. It happened pretty late in the year and we didn't really get a chance to talk about it. And it's so unbelievably fascinating to me. Australia continues to just be like a beacon of hope right now. And it is a huge deal. I think it's a huge deal, but I'm not living in it. So I'm really curious what's going on in Australia. And you have a little one who likes to scroll. So I'm really curious.
She loves to scroll. Yeah. Okay.
I'm really curious what's going on.
That's true. This happened towards the end of last year. We haven't had a chance to fully talk about this. I am in a weird sort of gap of being affected by this, where my little one's 6 years old. The other kids that I'm around at the moment, my nieces, are all like under the age of 8 years old. So that is still at the age where they know what social media is, but they haven't yet started begging to get their own accounts. The funny thing is, like when I go in and open my own Instagram account or whatever in Australia, it never like requested my age the first time I tried to open my social media account out here. So I don't actually know how they're vetting people who already have accounts. And also, I don't know how they're even vetting people who are trying to sign up for a new account. Like, is it going to be like a porn site where you have to click a button saying, yes, I'm over 18, and they just go, okay, here you go? Or is it going to be the type of thing where you have to upload an ID? I'm not exactly sure of that yet. But I was doing a little digging online and people are mad. And there is there's one Reddit thread that I found the other night as I was looking into this that is, I just want to read you a teensy weensy little bit. It's an Aussie, and they are so mad at parents. I'm just going to read you the top of it.
Are these teens kind of talking, or are we talking about adults here?
You'll find out in just a moment. Okay. So this was posted in the forum, Child Free forum on Reddit. So already, okay, they're probably preaching to the choir here, but I was curious. So it says, I'm shaking with rage right now. Australia passed the world's first laws banning everyone under 16 from having social media accounts. No exemptions, no parental consent loophole, straight up illegal. Platforms have under a month to figure out how to age verify every single user or face millions in fines. And whose fault is this? Parents. 1000% parents. You couldn't put the iPads down in front of your toddlers. You let them doom scroll TikTok at age 8 because it was easier than actually parenting. You posted their every milestone online for likes and now act shocked when they're anxious, depressed, and addicted. You screamed, think of the children, every time a politician needed an easy headline. So now the government is treating every single one of us like we're the irresponsible ones. I'm 33, child-free by choice, and have to jump through age verification hoops, probably handing over my driver's license to some sketchy third-party company because Karen and Kevin couldn't say, my kids can't handle boundaries. This is what happens when you choose to reproduce and then outsource parenting to algorithms, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, they're mad. They're pissed.
I think a 12-year-old wrote this.
Kevin and Karen have pissed this guy off or this gal off. And then there were a lot of comments underneath that were like, yes, this is the parents' fault. The parents should be responsible, blah, 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 blah. And on behalf of the parents, I want to say one thing in our defense. And listen, I'm sometimes like a really kind of lousy parent in that I often do use screens to babysit my kid, especially as a single parent who works, because a lot of the time I can't afford a babysitter and I need to get shit done. I think I've talked about this before. It's like sometimes it's literally the only option if I need to get something done. If I need to do a load of laundry, if I need to like cook or plan meals, who am I kidding? I don't cook, but you know what I'm saying. But I will say one thing that I think is really positive about this ruling is that as a parent, you're often faced with your kids asking you for things that you have to make a judgment call on. And sometimes it's really freaking hard to make that judgment call. You're sort of looking around at what other people are doing, being like, I don't freaking know. Like, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing for the kid. Like, should my kid be eating this? Should my kid be allowed to go out and ride their bike on their own? Or should I supervise them? Should I let them, go to a friend's house to sleep over without talking to the parents? Like, you're winging it. You're freaking winging it. And I was honestly starting to get stressed about things like my daughter getting to the point where she sees other friends of hers getting a cell phone or other friends of hers on social media and saying to me, well, my other friends are doing it. Why can't I do this? And this law, this ruling makes it really freaking easy to be like, sorry, babe, it's illegal. So it kind of takes that pressure off parents of having to make a really hard judgment call and having our kids bully us into doing something that we don't know if it's bad for them. And yeah, people might be
100%.
like, oh, you shouldn't let your kids bully you. But like, they do. They bully us. They really bully us.
Yeah. My niece is 5 and she's like, if you say anything to her, she kind of looks at you like, try me.
That's
Try
so
me.
mean. Yes,
She doesn't
that's
say
so
that.
mean.
She gives me that look. Okay. I first of all think blaming on the parents is the stupidest. We said we weren't going to swear, but I'm going to say it's the stupidest fucking thing in the world. About blaming the parents. So, first of all, like you said, it's not just, it's the government making a judgment call. But I mean, I'm not a parent, but I know how tough it must be to try to make a healthy choice for your kid when the other parents in your circle are not making the same choice. Not everybody is going, a group of parents aren't going to decide this is the day all our kids at the same time get a cell phone. So even if it's 2 days later, the parent is going to be suffering from 2 days. And what all these big tech companies have done is they've put us into these social media networks and these communities where no matter how much we want to be off Facebook, you have to say goodbye to your resources, your community. Maybe you're in a mom's group. Maybe you're like, that's where you, I don't know, you're on Facebook Marketplace, or maybe that's where like your club meets. Like, maybe it's the only place where you see pictures of your niece or whatever. It's like, they've locked you in, and to make a choice for a kid not to be in whatever all the other kids are doing is like, it's you're really isolating them. And when you collectively do it, I know it's going to be painful for the kids now, but I think that I think Scott Galloway said this, it's a huge gift to the future of Australia.
Huge gift, huge gift. You're totally right about that. It's like that herd mentality. It's so hard to break away from the pack once the ship has sailed and once everybody's doing it. And Jess, that book that you got me onto, Enshittification by, what's the guy's name?
Cory Doctorow.
Cory
I'm obsessed.
Doctorow. So I've just started, I'm only about an hour, I'm listening to the audiobook and I'm only about an hour in, but he talks about that, how it's like part of the reason why people can't get off or struggle to get off a particular social media outlet is because that sometimes it's how they keep in touch with their friends. Anyways, we're going to talk more about this later, but we want you all to read that book or listen to that audiobook if you would like to come on this journey with us, because it is fascinating. It's a great book.
Absolutely. And we're going to be using that word a lot this year. I think, although this is an artificial intelligence podcast, I think it's going to evolve into a criticizing big tech podcast, and AI's in everything now. So it's the enshittification of our lives via tech is something I'm really fired up about.